I'm Shiv with the Feel Better Life, and I have just been doing some practice and thought I'd like to come in and share with you. Hey Samaj, could you bring me my laptop, please? If I bring my laptop, maybe I can see if anyone's joining. I'm going to have a drink of water, because like I said, I was just practicing. And you may or may not know that I have been practicing Kundalini Yoga for 18 years. I wasn't a natural born yogi or anything. Well, I just almost, a week after my year, let's check inside. Yay! I think we're finally making it. Wow, sometimes you've really, really got to work for this. Samaj, do you see me live now? Not yet. There's always a little bit of a lag time. So Satnam, Satnam. Yay, we're here. So we're here, she says. So let me sit back so you can you see me? Can you see me now? Okay. So I'm Shiv and today I want to share with you 3 wonderful Kundalini poses that will help you with compulsive behaviors, will help pep you up, energize you, and can also be adapted and modified to calm you for the evening. This is what I love about Kundalini Yoga. If you want to do something in the morning where you want to get energized, there's lots of that. And then of course in the evening, when you want to calm it down, there's something for that. But then there's also something for compulsive behaviors. Now, who doesn't have some of those? Well, some people don't have compulsive behaviors. I'd say Samaj, very few compulsive behaviors. Bubblegum was one. He went through a phase of, he was a compulsive bubblegum eater. Odd one. Doesn't eat any other sugar, but doesn't have compulsive behaviors. Me, on the other hand, quite compulsive. And so these poses help me. And so what I thought we'd do is, why don't we tune in? Because, you know, even if we're just talking about the poses, I think that it's really nice to tune in. It's like telling the body that this is yoga time. This is the union of body, mind, and spirit. This is time to sit, right? It's like turning on your TV set to watch the game for the people, for those of you NBA fans. Go Warriors! 5 o'clock tonight, Pacific Standard Time. You know, if you want to watch the game, what do? You go turn on the television and then you put the channel on that the game's on. So when you're doing your yoga, you come sit down on your mat, turn the television on, tune in, get to the right channel, right? And so that's what I think of as tuning in. So to tune in, Ong Namo, Gurudev Namo. I call upon the infinite creative consciousness within. I call upon the infinite creative consciousness without. It links us to our inner teacher, which is the greatest teacher that we have, but it also links us to the golden chain of teachers that went before us. Kundalini Yoga, like traditions of yoga, has been taught from teacher to teacher down the lineages. So it's a very powerful and a very long-standing tradition that we are joining every time we sit and practice. Yoga always used to say as well that Kundalini Yoga is powerful and that he wasn't responsible for what happened to us if we didn't tune in. How about that? So tune in, rub the palms of the hands together, either sit in an easy pose like I am right now, legs crossed. You can have a little cushion underneath your bottom if you would like, or you can sit in a chair with your feet firmly on the ground, back nice and straight. It's such a gorgeous day, isn't it? I just had to share. It's just, this is the time to get your yoga on outside, I swear. Okay, palms of hands together, bend your thumbs, bring them over the sternum. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Lift your chest up, tuck your chin in slightly. Yeah, beautiful. Wind's whispering around, just lovely. Take some nice long deep inhales and exhales in through the nose, out through the nose. There's a Saul Williams quote that every whisper of the wind is the moon's imagination wandering. So you should feel the wind going over you. Imagine that it's the moon's imagination. Yeah. Inhaling again, beautiful. Exhale. And now we're going to inhale to begin. Om Namo Om Namu Om Inhale through the nose. Suspending the breath, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, lifting the chest slightly, tucking the chin in towards the front of the neck, making the back of the neck nice and long. Eyes are closed. And slowly exhale through the nose. And take a couple of breaths here. Notice how often we want to rush from one thing to the next. What's next? What's next? That's done. What's next? Breathe. Now allow the hands to come down. Either right palm on left for men, left on right for women, or allow them to be on your knees and just take a moment. Notice here how challenging it can be when someone says, take a moment. It's a practice. Okay, flutter your eyes open. How are you doing? I got the computer out here, but you know, to be quite honest, I can't see anything. So if you are here, let me know that you're here because I will see it afterwards. But otherwise, if you're here, let's do some yoga. So we're going to do a couple of poses today. One's for compulsive behavior, which is really awesome, frog pose. Now, hopefully the camera, you're going to be able to see me. But I thought, let me see if I stand up. What do you see? Well, if I stand up, you see my butt, like... Okay, cool. So that's how we can do that. So I'll move backwards. So we're just going to warm up by doing some yogic jogging. So basically you're going to put your hands on your hips and you're just going to put your feet out in front of you, one in front of the other, point your toes, and I'll run backwards in the orchard and you should be able to see me doing it, and I won't be headless. All right? Shall we go? Okie dokie. Let's see until you can see me. How's that? Yep. Okay, let's go. So I'll come forward so you can see what my legs are doing. From the side. And you can just stand in one place. My cameraman today, he's going out on a bike ride. Can't fault that. 10 seconds more. Get your heart rate going. Beautiful. Coming back because I'm not sure if you can hear me. So I'm going to go back there. I'm going to stand feet hip distance apart. Going to inhale, take the left arm back, the right hand comes across the heart center but doesn't touch. You can see the reflection of my palm there. I'm not touching. I'm here. Exhale, right goes back, left comes in here. It's very powerful. Head follows. Ooh. Let me tie my hair and see if I can stop that slapping me. Rather a lot of hair sometimes. There you go. So inhale, exhale, so you can hear it. And inhale, center. Interlace the fingers. Press down. And exhale as you come down. Allow the head to fold. Woo. Rest your elbows. Warmed you up a little bit, huh? Okay, we'll do some spinal flex and then we're going to get into the poses. So if you've been here before, you know spinal flex. Hands on the front of the shins. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, coming back. From the side, looks like this. Shoulders stay nice and firm. Chest comes up and through. Chin is level. Eyes are closed, but if they were open, they'd be looking at the same point on the wall. And you go inhale, exhale. It might be slower, it might be. Stretching this lower part of the back, feels so good. Could be a little faster. Okay? Okay. You got it. Let's go. Inhaling sat, exhaling nam. Doing great. Seconds. And inhale up. Suspending the breath, relaxing the tongue from the upper palate, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, keeping the breath suspended. And slowly exhale. Right palm on left for men, left on right for women. Sit, eyes closed, breathe. These moments after our asana, after our poses. This is the gold. This is where the magic happens. Okay? And let me just check that the tripod is fully out so that we don't have another collapse like the other day. So Majda's iPad is smashed, but still usable. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is frog pose. And frog pose is, let me do it so you can see me off my sheepskin. So, in this pose, you have your heels are together. Can you see that? I've got my heels off the ground, so there's all this space between my heels. My heels are together, my toes are pointing out, like my knees. Now, you should have no strain in your knees here. But if you've got strain, then maybe you need to start here, or maybe frog pose isn't quite for you yet. So I don't want any strain on your knees, but you will feel that, it's a workout, right? So breathing, with a normal breathing, it would be to inhale as your butt goes up and exhale as your head comes back up, which would look like this, keeping the heels off the ground. Knees are wide, fingertips are spread, balancing you. You're like just balanced under your shoulders. Head is up, back is straight on the side. Back is straight, butt driving down, knees open, chin level, right? This is where we're going to start. We're going to inhale. As we inhale, bring the head down, straightening the knees, butt goes up to here. Exhale, knees come back out, back is straight to here. From the front, again, heels are together, pressing together and staying together, up, lifted off of the ground throughout. Hands balance you in the front. Inhale, head comes in towards the knees, butt goes up. Exhale, butt comes down, back is straight, head is up. Now normally we do this with a little bit of speed, so it would look more like this. Of course, you go as fast as your body and your breath will allow. Follow your breath, because without the breath we have nothing. It's a very good one to follow. So if you're starting, don't start out fast. So you inhale. Now, if you have compulsive behaviors, we're going to do it slower and we're going to reverse the breath. So for the compulsive behaviors, we would sit here, right, in exactly the same position, but we take an inhale now, so that as our butt lifts, that's when we exhale. So inhale now. Now, as butt lifts, now we exhale. Much slower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now, if you can't keep your toes, you can keep going. If you can't keep your heels up, then when you come up, you can bring them down. And then as the knees come back out, they can come up. You have to meet the yoga where you are, and the yoga will meet you. So don't be thinking that you have to do everything perfectly to start with. There is no perfect anyway. You start where you are, and that's where you begin. So if you need to modify, again, you can start here instead of all the way down here. And if you can't straighten your legs the whole way, you can straighten them as far as you can. You can have your heels down and then come down. Okay? The most important thing is to make sure that you listen to your body and don't put strain on your knees if you have it. Okay? So again, for compulsive behavior, you take an inhale here, and as you exhale, straighten. Inhale. Exhale. To energize, it's the opposite. So it's the way we did it before. So we inhale here. So as we sit here, we inhale and we exhale coming up. So that's one pose that you can do two ways for two very different effects. And this is a lovely one, just if you're doing the inhale up, exhale down, not the one for compulsive behavior, to do in the mornings or to do in the afternoon as a quick pick-me-up. You can do it anywhere, and it's really fun. So that's the first one, and that one's called frog pose. Ribbit. I tell you, this sun is getting me warm. I have another drink of water. Okay, next we have one of my very favorites, life nerve stretch. Now, I will say this is one that will show you where you are and how much you're practicing, because when I first started, I think I could reach my toes. I've always been able to reach my toes. I think because we did gymnastics till I was 9, and I think that's probably why. But I could reach my toes, but I couldn't get anywhere near coming down. So scoot back, see if you can see me. Interesting not having my cameraman here. There you go. So there. So there's a couple of ways. If you haven't got much flexibility, you can do it with one leg. So bring one leg in, and this leg just sits flat against the thigh. You sit up nice and tall. Put a cushion underneath your bottom if you're not straight. And you lean forward and just take a hold of the foot, bringing the toes towards you. And you can either do a static, where you're bringing and what you're doing here is you're bending from the hip. So you want to sit as tall as possible. Bring in the belly. Imagine that you're trying to fold yourself over. So if you're trying to fold something in half, you'd want it to be as thin as possible both ways and as tall so it could sandwich, right? That's what you're doing. Don't think about your head touching down here. Think about your belly touching your thigh. If the belly can touch the thigh, the head can follow. What often happens is the head tries to get there, but of course there's no contact here. So much better to have this position, right, than to have this position. From the side, the difference is this. So sitting up straight and have that position where the belly is almost touching the thigh. Then to have this position where the head is almost touching the knee, but there's nothing happening here and the back is all kinds of rounded. Okay? The other way you can do this is if you can't touch your feet, is to use a strap. You don't need a yoga strap or anything. This is actually what I roll my sheepskin in. So I roll my sheepskin in this, and then I always have some kind of strap to give one of my students. I don't use it myself, but like for now. So you can hold that either with both hands, one either side, or you can hold it like this. And you always want to come, when you're bending, bring your elbows out. So often people bring the elbows down, but then there's nowhere for I can't go any further. Bringing them out keeps my shoulders open, my chest open, and allows me room to move. I learned this from watching V in teacher training. So he was assisting our teacher training. He qualified a couple of years earlier, and every break he would sit down and do life nerve stretch. And it was just amazing to watch. I could just see the energy building in him. And I'd sit there and I'd watch him like what was his form. And it was really that he would brace himself up at the inhale and then really allow himself to open. So it would look like this. Inhaling, coming up, and have a straight back. So when you inhale, coming up, right? And I'm pulling up like that, right? So there's this, and so that when I exhale, it's a beautiful thing. So that's doing it one-legged, and you would change legs. Or you can do it with both, which is my preferred. And then you take your fingers, trigger fingers, like so. Take the two fingers, put them between your toes. I'm going to take my ring off for that. Put them between your toes and then press on your big toe with your thumbs and pull your other two fingers around the toes, right? And then pulling the toes towards you. Legs are nice and straight on the ground. Back's nice and straight, chin is up, shoulders are relaxed. Inhale, and then as you exhale, allowing the elbows to come out to the side, allowing the belly to be drawn in and up and to fold over. And once that fold is there, to then come down, okay? The breath can either be longer, but here's the tip that most people do not do. When they draw in, when they inhale. If you draw yourself up like so, you will fold over as if by magic. It is not in the folding over that it happens, it's in the drawing up and then allowing it to go. So let's do it, let's go. You go at your pace, I'm gonna go at mine. I normally do 108 of these. So, but today I guess let's do 21. How about that? Okay? Are you ready? Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Wherever you are. Okay, close your eyes and let's go. Good job. And 21, inhale up. Stretch up, stretch up. Oh my goodness, this is when it feels so good when you're out here with the sun. It feels orange behind my eyelids. Suspending the breath. And then as you exhale, fold yourself down. Wherever you can go, let go of your toes. And slowly roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time, head last. Left palm on right, women. Right on left, man. Doesn't really matter. Keep your eyes closed. Just sit for a moment. Imagine 108 of those. It's powerful. Yogi Bhajan says women should bend the elbows 3 times a day for the glandular system. So one of his 5 steps to living a healthy life for women is to, to sweat on the brow, to exercise to the point that you sweat on the brow, to bend the elbows 3 times a day, to take light, gentle exercise in the morning and in the evening. And I forget the other 2, but this was one of them. Life nerve stretch. And then finally, our final one, with long deep breathing if you want calming, and breath of fire if you want energizing. And by the way, life nerve stretch can also be done with breath of fire for a very energizing. Or right, myriad ways of doing it. And the last one we're going to do is called Kundalini Lotus. So for Kundalini Lotus, we're actually going to be taking our legs out in like a lotus. And so again, the trigger fingers, you want to take your rings off because it will hurt your toes. So trigger fingers to take hold of the big toe and put the thumb on the your thumb on the big toenail. Knees are out, back is straight. You really want the back to be straight. And as we come up, we're going to tilt back just ever so slightly. You'll find your point of balance, right? So this actually helps with mental and physical balance as well. So sitting here like so, I've just lifted my feet up and bent back slightly. And of course now we're live, I'll probably like flop over or something. You just never know. And then what we do is we bring the legs up and out. Now you want to draw up through the chest, keeping the chest elevated. Press back through the knees. Hold on to your toes. I'll show you from the front. So, if you've never done this before, it can feel quite challenging. So just start to get the idea of the pose. So keep your feet down here to start with. Grab a hold of those toes. There's the crow. And then just tilt back slightly and allow your feet to come off the ground. Brace your shoulders back. Back is nice and straight on a slight tilt. And just hang out there. Right? And then brace yourself. It's like I put my shoulders down. Inhale, and as I exhale, bringing the legs out. So I was going to show you from the front. And this can be so much fun. I've had 75-year-old women doing this in the Cannabis Club in Berkeley when I used to volunteer there and teach. And they were a hoot because they'd always tell me that it was a great sex position. I'm telling you, there's a 70-year-old lady and a 74-year-old lady that just made my day. But if they can do this at 74 and 70, then power to them. So bring it up, brace yourself, but soften, right? You don't want to brace yourself and be stiff. Brace but soften. And then open like a lotus. Now from here you can do long deep breathing or you can do breath of fire. Remember, no breath of fire on the first 3 days of your cycle. So you would do long deep breathing then. If you want to energize, you do breath of fire. For some calming, you do long deep breathing. If you don't have a lot of time to do a full kriya, this is the one. Just do this. It's going to get you going. Do this for a minute, do it for 2 minutes, do it for 3 minutes. Do it for as long as you can. bring it back down. And there you have it. 3 beautiful Kundalini poses that can give you, I'm just going to let my hips have a little jiggle, that can help you overcome compulsive behaviors, can help you energize, can calm you, and just generally make you feel better. Because here's the thing, so much of what we want to do, in fact pretty much all of what we want, is for one reason. We want to feel better. You know, the Dalai Lama calls it happiness, that happiness is the one thing that unites us all. The challenge with happiness in the West is that it has this connotation of being when everything's going as we want it, then we're happy. That's not happiness. Happiness is a sense of feeling better in the situation when you don't have control of the situation, but you can make the most of it, right? And that if we say, you know, I want to be happy, that's quite a loaded question, but how can I feel better? Well, there's all kinds of ways that we can feel a little bit better in the moment. And every time we feel a little bit better in the moment, it starts to build a life that feels better. Because life is built moment by moment. It's not these big things that happen. It's like, oh, this is a life that feels good. It's sitting down and doing a little yoga. It's taking a walk. It's turning off the TV and tuning into something that's more important to you. Right? So really that's what it's all about. It's all about us starting to feel better in our lives. And that's why I love Kundalini Yoga when I first, well, I didn't find it, it found me. When it found me, it was because this was the first time that I could sit down and I actually felt different when I stood up. I felt very different, and it gave me courage, vitality and stamina that I didn't have before. And as I said, for the last 17 years, it's been my constant companion. Even when I've forgotten it, it never forgets me. And I truly believe that Kundalini Yoga pretty much saved my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing it, because, you know, yoga has a connotation that people think, and it's not necessary. Kundalini isn't necessarily like a lot of the yogas on the high street. It's just different. It's not static poses. It gets your energy going. It's very dynamic, and it can be done by anyone. If you can breathe, you can do Kundalini Yoga, and that's the thing that I love about it. You can do it sitting in a chair. You can do it sitting on the ground. If you can breathe and you can get that energy moving through your body, and you can bust through limitations. You can bust through things that are holding you back, because the energy's doing it. It's not about willpower and motivation. They are so overrated. They're like the evil stepsisters, right? So once we start to breathe, we can let go of the evil stepsisters and start to power up. We power up ourselves with our breath. There is a powerhouse here, right here, where 72,000 nerves converge. They go through here, our navel. And when we start to stimulate the navel point, bam, we got power like we never knew before. And that's the beauty of Kundalini Yoga. That's what keeps me coming back to the mat. And when I speak to my students, that's what keeps them coming back to the mat. How about you? What keeps you coming back to the mat? I'd love to know. I think I'm going to go for my afternoon walk now. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've got any questions, let me know. We're going to be doing more live classes. They'll be over on the Patreon page. So if you haven't gone over there, go and see it. It's patreon.com/holler. That's patreon.com/holler. If you enjoy the work of this channel and want to support it more, that's where you go, and we're going to have lots of behind-the-scenes things that no one else gets but our Patreon peeps, including some live classes and Q&As with me and Samaj, deep discounts on our courses, and all kinds of other things, just for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month. How about that? What could happen if we all pulled together with our dollars and took this out? What would happen? How far could we go? That's what we want to know. Come and join us, patreon.com/holler. We love you so much. Sat now.